Hi everybody, welcome to our review for section 5.3. Okay, our first slide here is really the only formula that we'll need for the sake of what we want to do with 5.3 questions on the quiz or on the exam. So this formula right here, right? So we have R is still the periodic payment, so same as section 5.2. P now is the amount of a loan of P dollars, so P is the amount of the loan. N is still equal to M times T, still the number of conversion periods times the number of years, so that's T. And then R over M here is the value of I, right? So this formula can be written as P times I over 1 minus 1 plus I to the minus N, right? So same thing. Okay, so now the idea is you want to pay a debt to reduce, well, you want to make payments to reduce a debt, and you're paying it by regular payments. So, right, it's periodic. So maybe you're paying them every month, every quarter, every year, or so on, right? That's all determined by whatever your value of M is, whether it says annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, right? So that would be like what will give you the value of M. And so the idea is just, that's the important part to remember here, is that P here is the value of the loan, and R is how much you're paying every period. So that's really what we need to remember from section 5.3. It's kind of an application of the stuff you did in 5.2, just slightly different formula. So let's look at some examples so we can see how we can use this formula here. Let's go to that one here. Let's delete some of this. Okay, first example here. So find the periodic payments required to amortize a loan of $16,000 over 5 years with interest charged at the rate of 3% per year compounded semi-annually. Of course, the wording on your actual web assignment homework is not like this, but I figure maybe it's better to get used to problems worded differently that essentially are asking you for the same thing, right? So if you go back to your number 2 on WebAssign, see if you can tell whether this wording right here is the same exact thing as that wording there. All right, but this is what we're trying to find. All right, we're trying to find the periodic payments. Payments are usually, that's R in our equation, right? Anything that has to do with a loan, that's the value of P. Rates, that's a little r, and then compounded semi-annually tells us that M is equal to 2. So let's write it all down here. So we know that we're trying to find R. This says find the periodic payments. We know that P is equal to 16,000. All right, so we know T time is 5 years. All right, so what else? So we know that R is equal to 0.03, and then finally, we also know that M is equal to 2. That comes from the semi-annually part. And then we just have to use the formula that we have. All right, so we know that R is equal to P times R over M divided by 1 minus, so you get 1 plus R over M to the power of minus MT. So that's the formula we want to use. So in our case, it's going to be 16,000 divided by, well, actually multiplied by first 0.03 divided by 2. Okay, and then at the bottom we have 1 minus 1 plus 0.03, again over 2. That part stays the same, to the power of minus 2 times 5, so to the power of negative 10. So once we figure out what that is, we got it. And for me, that comes out to approximately, so rounded to the nearest cent, 1,734. So So $1,734.95. Right. So that's how much you need to pay, well, twice a year. Hopefully that makes sense. So for 5 years, you're gonna pay this twice a year to reduce the payments, completely reduce the payments here. Well, completely reduce the loan amount of $16,000. You want to make these payments to reduce the loan amount. All right, so to pay off this loan, this is how much you need to pay twice a year for 5 years. Okay, so we got that. And then let's look at another example. So this was a case of I'm given a loan and I'm given everything else, and I'm asking how much do I need to pay every period? And this is how much I need to pay every period. So now kind of suppose if you were given how much you had to pay every period, and they ask you how much is the loan, or what is the total price that I need to pay at the end of the day if this is how much I'm paying every period. So let's see how to answer a question like that. Okay, right. So suppose I want to purchase a house and I can only afford $930 per month to do that, right? So my mortgage payment. So I am offered a 30-year loan that charges 2.5% interest. That's what the word interest is missing here. Compounded monthly. So what is the largest price of the house that I can afford? Right? So it just means that if I'm actually paying the $930 a month, what is really the price of this house that I'm trying to buy, given the information that I have? All right, so what is the largest price of the house? That's another way of saying what is P. Right, so if I had to take out a loan, what would be that loan amount given that I would have to pay $930 a month? Okay, so that means let's set it up again. So I'll write down the formula once again. We'll have R is equal to P times R over M divided by 1 minus, get 1 plus R over M to the minus MT. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. So we know how much I can afford to pay per month. That's $930, so that's R. So 930 is equal to P, that's what I'm looking for, times my value for R, 2.5%, 0.025. All right, and now we know that this is being compounded monthly, which means M is equal to 12. Okay, take that, divided by 1 minus, you get 1 plus, again, 0.025, divided by 12, and you want to raise that to the power of negative M, which is 12, times T, and hopefully you can see that that's 30, right? It's this 30-year loan right here, so that's the value of T. That's how long I'm going to be paying for this house, 30 years. Okay. So in the end, once you calculate this comes out to approximately, and you want to make sure you don't round off too prematurely. So I took as many decimal places as I could, and I said that this is P times, and then this value right here is approximately this. So 0.003935129, right? So this right here, that's equal to 930. And solving for P, so meaning divide 930 by all of this over here, we end up with P is equal to $235,000, 371. Right, and if I'm rounding off to the nearest cents, this is what I got. So the cost of this house is gonna be at most $235,371. right? So of course, I mean, this is like the largest price of the house that I can afford. I can afford anything less, but certainly can't afford a house that's any more expensive than this. Right, so we've done two examples, one where we found the loan value, which is this right here, and then the previous example where we found the monthly payments, right? So you want to be able to find either or, whichever one the question is asking you for. Just know that the equation you're supposed to use is this right here. That's the formula you want to use. You want to make sure you know the difference between R and the difference between P. Okay, this is all you need to know for 5.3. There is no password on the quiz this week. You have 48 hours to take it. Good luck.